Each synth excels in at least one specific role. Their sound is perfectly and authentically modeled after the hardware versions. The background music of this video was created by the Korg Collection. As there was a new update to this collection, making it already the 5th edition named Collection 5. My new video overview is adjusted to be up to date with the new synth editions. Be sure to stay until the end of this video as the new synths are added as the last ones in the presentation. This video will introduce Korg Collection 5, the software synthesizer collection of legendary analog and digital Korg products. This synthesizer collection is regularly updated with new additions. By now it provides more than enough plugins for producing complex compositions. The Korg Collection 5 is an enhanced version of the original software synthesizer collection first released in 2004. Later the original collection was renamed to Korg Legacy Collection. It was a brilliant idea for recreating Korg's legendary synthesizers in software. New users who had no opportunity to get those original synths still have the chance to marvel at their sounds. Even old fans welcome the VSTI versions. Starting from 2017, the Korg Collection was gradually renewed with additional synths. By now it features 17 products with iconic sounds from the last several decades all the way back to the 70s. The circuitry of the analog synthesizers is precisely modeled by fully emulating the depth and complexity, and the sounds are authentically recreated by Korg. The recreation was supervised by the original developers and advisors, so the collection remains faithful to the experience the hardware versions offered. This collection covers a broad spectrum of synthesis from the early analog masterpieces such as the MS-20 to digital hits like the TRITON workstation. The background music of this video was created by synths from this collection, including almost every one of those. Some were even used in multiple instances. In the following sections I will introduce those synths individually. The analog synthesizer MS-20 was released in 1978 and is undoubtedly one of the most famous synthesizers of all time. It has two VCOs with ring modulators, an EG with hold and delay functions, and an intense self-oscillating high-pass, low-pass filter. On top of that, it provides you with a freely adjustable patch section. All these combined allow the creation of extreme sound ranges. When I want to make some really weird and unique sound effects, I start with this synth and always come up with something satisfyingly unusual. Even if you do not like to mess around tweaking knobs and throwing patch cables all around, the basic sound presets offer you a nice starting ground. Then you can go further from there. If you can get your hands on the real hardware version, it's even better. The Mono Poly, which is a mono-polyphonic analog synthesizer, was originally manufactured around 36 years ago, though it still has its incredibly beautiful sound. As it has 4 oscillator modules combined with sync and cross modulation functions, it quickly became my favorite for creating complex and unique tone effects. Since then, when I see a nice role for it, I always try to put it into my songs. I definitely recommend this synth if you like to model your sounds, as this one has a lot of knobs to tweak and parameters to combine for unleashing your imagination. The Polysix is an analog synthesizer introduced in 1981. By having 6 polyphonic voices, it quickly became popular over the other synths having one less. Polyphony of that time. It has several parameters and built-in effects such as chorus, phaser and ensemble, and despite its simplicity, it still can surprise you with beautiful warm strings and pad sounds. At first glance, I did not give it much attention, but after giving it several more tries I discovered some really beautiful sound combinations. Even though there are more complex synthesizers by now, I still recommend this one, as it can produce awesome warm sounds similar to the mono, poly. The WAVESTATION, released in 1990, is a synthesizer with an advanced vector synthesis system that could create new sounds by combining and connecting multiple waveforms. It was the first synthesizer enabling wave sequencing, and you can create patches using multiple oscillators and apply vector synthesis to them. As it has more than 1,500 programs, I always find multiple sounds I would like to play around with and eventually end up creating a new song in the process. If you are a big fan of wave synthesis, I recommend you give it a try. You will be surprised by the number of sounds to be familiar with from one of your favorite hits heard on the radio. The M1, released in 1988, was a synthesizer that defined the era of the late 80s and 90s with its digital multi-effect synthesis system, as it is a workstation in itself with an 8-track sequencer. It made the composing and production process much easier. It has so massive collection of sounds, more than 3,000 presets, that even after owning this synth for almost more than 1 decade, I still have not explored all of those beautiful sounds. Even though its role as a workstation has been deprecated, the sheer amount of beautiful sound patches makes it still a great addition to the synth arsenal. The MDE-X is an effect module providing high-quality multi-digital effects by the TRITON Instant Effect algorithm. It has 21 types of effects, such as reverb, delay or talking modulator. It can even serve as a limiter or compressor. In addition, the predefined presets give you a good starting point for almost all your needs. The module itself is CPU efficient, which means you can easily use dozens of it without any problems. The MDE-X can be calmly described as a multi-purpose module. If you need only one effect module, I highly recommend you to try this one. In most cases, this will cover all your needs in a highly scalable way. The ARP Odyssey is an analog synthesizer originally introduced by ARP Instruments in 1972. The synth was reproduced by Korg in 2015. Later, the software version became part of the collection too. It received various enhancements and built-in effects. You would be surprised how precisely you can emulate the classic analog feeling. The circuits of the original synth were faithfully reproduced while supervised by the co-founder of ARP Instruments. Some of its greatest benefits are the programmable arpeggiator, the rich polyphonic voice mode, and that all of its parameters are controllable via MIDI. The longer you experiment with its nice polyphonic voice, the harder will you be able to stop. The Korg TRITON, released in 1999, is a music workstation synthesizer featuring digital sampling and sequencing. It uses Korg's hyper-integrated synthesis system providing dual filters per digital oscillator along with other configurations. Also, it had many improvements over its predecessor, including 62-note polyphony and double arpeggiator among others. Its enhancements made it to be one of the best-selling synths of its era. It is exciting to browse over its vast amount of presets. The software version has more than 1,600 preset sounds, as all of the expansion library cards are included. Although the software version does not have a sequencer, it does have a powerful dual polyphonic arpeggiator. Just alone for its expressive characteristic PCM sound, it is a wonderful synth in the studio. The Korg TRITON Extreme is the most powerful model in the TRITON series. It features the first ever valve force vacuum tubes in a workstation, which can be used as an extra effect, adding warmth, fullness and power as a nice distinctive tube quality to its sound. Regarding the sound banks, similarly to the TRITON, it has a very rich selection of presets and thousands of impressive sounds, including extremely well simulated classical instruments. If you ever need a software version of a synth for an all-VSTI-fits-all purpose, this one could easily fill that role. The original miniKORG, first released in 1972, was a 2VCO, 2VCF, 1EG, 1LFO monophonic analog synthesizer. One of its unique features was the traveler controller, the combined filters of the oscillator circuit producing distinctive results. The software version is not only a faithful reproduction of the original one, but it was further enhanced to bring it up to standards of the modern era. For example, it is capable of mono, legato, and polyphonic sounds as well. It also includes an additional 5 stompbox style effects. The visual representation of the UI is the most realistic among all the collection products, despite its small size at first glance. This masterpiece of synth produces a lot of surprises with its synthesis. The Prophecy, originally introduced in 1995, is one of the earliest virtual analog synthesizers. One of its advantages was flexibility, as its assignable knobs and many other controls allowed real-time tweaks to the sounds. This synth enables physical modeling. The software version fully reproduces the MOS, multi-oscillator synthesis system, and is also equipped with pulse width modulation. The modeling capabilities are so deep that the combinations seem endless. By immersing yourself in parameter tweakings, you can conjure breathtaking sound sequences. Whenever I want to enrich my bass rhythms with some additional effects, I always come up with some unique sounds from the Prophecy. The microKORG is one of the best-selling synthesizers of Korg. Following its release in 2002, several other variations were introduced, such as the microKORG XL and the microKORG S. Its goal was not only to bring the fun of synthesizers to every level of musicians, but also to create a compact and easy-to-use model. The reproduction includes not only the analog modeling oscillator, but also the filter, the amp and effect sections, the arpeggiator, and even the vocoder. In addition, a total of 256 built-in programs are available from its menu. You will be surprised how much functionality is packed into this tiny model. The ELECTRIBE-R, released in 1999, is a dedicated electronic drum machine and is famous for its easy-to-use beat-making interface. This software version is based on the ELECTRIBE for iPad, released in 2010 but was extended further to include the original ELECTRIBE-R and ELECTRIBE-R MKII-2. One of the main advantages that the software version has is the flexible, easy programmable step sequencer with configurable beat patterns. ELECTRIBE series has a limited ability to store the movements of knobs and switches, which is called the motion sequence function. This function was further enhanced in the software version by lifting the limit to enable storing all parameters. If you are looking for an easily programmable beat sequencer, the ELECTRIBE-R is definitely a good candidate. The KAOSS pad is an audio sampling instrument and multi-effects processor. It was originally introduced in 1999. It is practically a VST plugin for your effect slots, controllable in real time by a touchpad. It has a nice selection of 128 effect programs in 9 categories, including not only digital effects, but also analog oscillators too. The main advantage of the software version is the edit function, which allows you to edit every effect program. The programmable parameters include 4 LFOs, 4 envelope generators, 2 envelope followers, an XY pad, and various modulators. It is definitely a good addition to the effect module arsenal, though probably the most fun part comes when its sample looper is put into action. The ARP 2600 is a subtractive semi-modular synthesizer, initially produced by ARP Instruments in 1971. Korg, by using their proprietary CMT technology, faithfully reproduced its sound with such precision that even the patches will sound exactly as the original hardware version. The VST includes new features such as switchable main filter types, new modulation sources, a drive section, extensive MIDI control, SEM-inspired second filter, OLFO and envelope. While some were even further expanded, like the polyphony, arpeggiator and sequencer. One of its main advantages is that it was designed in a way that the cables are optional and everything you need to know about the signal is indicated right on the panel. This synth is not just an ideal piece for the studio, but also is a perfect choice for education purposes. The VOX Super Continental is a transistorized combo organ produced by VOX in the 60s, which is a variation of the basic VOX Continental made in Italy. Its main advantage was that it was light and more portable than other organs of its time. The VST version accurately models the hundreds of individual key contacts and includes the percussion section. It uses the SST smooth sound transitions that allows natural switching between the tones and effects. There are also 3 multi-effects and reverb effects built in. In addition, an amplifier is also integrated along with insert effects and a reverb with the selection of 30 effect types. If you want to enrich your music with a unique organ sound, this VST nicely fits that role. However, this instrument can produce even other cool sounds that you would not expect from something that looks like an organ. The EP1 is an electric piano sound engine It was introduced by the Kronos workstation in 2011. It uses the MDE-X multi-dimensional synthesis technology that allows the creation of smooth and dynamic tonal changes of the keys that cannot be achieved by conventional sampler methods. EP1 models were used in the Kronos workstation, Grand Stage Piano and Nautilus workstation. This VST version features the latest EP1 sound engine with new voicing. It has built-in 3 insert effects and a dedicated reverb effect that allows the selection of 31 types of multi-effects. In addition, it has 50 sound presets emulating 7 carefully selected classic vintage electric piano models. Surprisingly, this piano model also can produce some awesome synth sound types that you would not expect from such an instrument. I am a long-time user of Korg synths and I am absolutely satisfied with the beautiful sounds and the wide variety of modeling options. Each synth excels in at least one specific role. Their sound is perfectly and authentically modeled after the hardware versions. I like this Korg collection because it has more than enough synths in one package. It's professionally produced. Its sound is awesome just like the real hardware and it is easy to use by your favorite DAW. You can easily reuse any of these VSTs in multiple instances that would be impossible to do so when using their hardware versions. At the end you can easily end up using so many VSTs in your music that it would not even fit into a real studio. This collection is available for both Win and Mac platforms and is usable in all modern DAWs. Compatible with VSTi. If you are looking for some good software synths, I recommend this collection. You will not only get a wide selection of plugins, but also it will help you save up space in your studio as all of them fit on your laptop. It is incredible how so many wonderful synths are packed into this product. I do hope that Korg will keep updating this software collection for a long time. The link to the Korg Collection 5 is in the description of the video. If you liked the video, please support it by giving a like, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Do not forget to turn on the notification bell to be notified about the next upload. I have more content like this, various tips, overview videos, and more. In addition, I have a separate playlist for videos about AI. The links to those playlists are in the description. Which Korg synth is your favorite and why? Please, let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching.